Merry Christmas, fa la la, and all that stuff. So I was just looking from the comments of the event restriction video that I did last week, and I like this one. I thought this was worth sort of talking about a bit. It says, I used to take a very holier-than-thou stance in my head, like, why is everyone so obsessed with eating food together? We should be getting together just to enjoy each other's company, not focusing food all the time. I care more about people than food. That was in response to, in the event restriction video, I was saying about how I used to get so pissed off that Christmas there's food everywhere, and I'd be like, why does every social event have to revolve around food? And I know that I'm not alone in being a person with an eating disorder who felt like that, and that was what this person's pointing out. But she went on to say, I now realise I was more focused on the food than anyone else at those events was. I was the one looking up menus in advance and panicking and hovering by the snack table after a few drinks, unable to stop snacking because it was the only time I had my guard down and my body could get snacks. Nobody there cared as much about the food as I did. I still remember the panic feeling after I ate what I felt was too many sweets at a party, but not a single interaction that I had with anyone else there. So that is really interesting. And I used to be the same. I used to have a bit of a holier-than-thou attitude about it. Like, why are people just obsessed with food? Isn't each other's company enough that we could just get together and enjoy one another's company? And why does there have to be sort of so much food present? And why does it have to be about a mealtime or mince pies or whatever the thing is? That was just fear talking, by the way. I don't feel that way anymore. In fact, I'm like, yeah, I'll only come and see you if there's food. Just kidding, I'm not really, but kind of a little bit. And I also would come away from a party or event or something like that. I'd be able to tell you what was on offer food-wise. I'd be able to tell you what everybody else ate. It's weird, isn't it? It's creepy. Would I be able to tell you about conversations I've had? Fuck, would I? Like, my brain wasn't there. I would be standing there talking to somebody and my brain would be on the buffet table. Even if I was the other side of the room from the buffet table, which is I did a lot, but on purpose, I like hover as far away from the food as I possibly could. But my brain was right there. My brain was with the pigs in blankets. And my brain was noticing every single person that picked up something, ate it. My brain was clocking everything. So no wonder I didn't know what I was having a conversation with anybody about or could remember that, because that's quite a lot for a brain to do in a room full of 30 people, to be clocking what everybody else is eating and paying attention to all of that. And it's sad, isn't it? And I also used to have that same sort of attitude around Christmas Day. God, my poor family. My mum would be slaving away in the kitchen. I'd be like, oh, Mum, why are you making so much food? Like, Christmas shouldn't be about food. You don't have to do that. I mean, that's kind of true. I don't feel like any person should be slaving away in the kitchen all day long. Everyone has to help. But, my mum, she'd be like, no, I enjoy doing it. And everybody does like the food. And I'd be like, no, we don't. We don't really eat it anyway. Like, I would just do everything I could to convince her not to make as much food on Christmas, and would be sort of like, it's just going to be wasted. No one will eat it. Everybody ate it. Of course it got eaten, but I just didn't want it to tempt me, did I? I didn't want it in the house. And so I was just probably like this little poison dwarf, 6 foot tall poison dwarf, but you know what I mean? That was just like the Christmas Grinch hobbit, all because of the food stuff that is so present at Christmas. And now, I have to say, I do miss, I miss English food a lot of the time, but around Christmas time, what's American is, I don't know. I don't actually like mince pies that much, but I'll eat them at Christmas time, just because that's what you do. So I can't really say I like them a lot, but I like the nostalgia of eating them at Christmas time, and also the fact that I can eat them, and for the years that I didn't. I do really like Christmas pudding, and you don't get that in America. And you also don't get Christmas cake, really, in America. My mum used to make me one and send it over. It costs a lot of money to ship it from England, but because they're so heavy and full of alcohol and stuff. But I love Christmas cake, and you don't really get that. You don't really get the Christmas. I don't find that you get over here the Christmas festive stuff. Anyway, so I sort of missed that about England. But when I was in England with an eating disorder, I hated it. And it just felt like Christmas was this time where all of this food pressure was just pushing down on me. And I would feel so angry and resentful about it, and about everybody else who was just enjoying tucking in and not really thinking twice about it. So it's a really tricky time of year when you have an eating disorder. I really like that comment that it was Zen somebody made on that post, just because it shows the awareness. It also shows how something can feel so true at the time. It doesn't mean that it is. And that's the crazy thing about your brain, is that your brain basically has all your buttons. It has all the controls. It can make you feel like whatever it wants. And your brain can make you feel like something's true. And if your brain believes that something's important and something's a threat to you, it'll make you feel that you truly feel like, oh, you know, I'm resentful, not because I'm scared of the food, but it's just truly because I feel like human beings place too much importance on food and not enough importance on one another. Like, your brain can actually make you feel like you actually think that. And then you recover from your eating disorder and like, what a fucking twat I was. What was I on about? What was I on about? Like, me on my sort of high horse about, you know, we should be enjoying one another's company and there doesn't need to be mince pies present. I actually had this argument with my mum. We should be making mince pies. And, you know, we live in a village in England, and around December, there's always, everything you go to, there has to be mince pies. And so she'd always be cooking mince pies. And I'd be like, oh, Mum, don't you think people get bored of them? They still all disappear by the end of the evening. I'd be like, oh, Mum, you know, like, you shouldn't be putting so much time. You're spending too much time doing these things. Like, you know, people don't appreciate it. You're putting too much time on yourself. She'd be like, oh, I like doing it. And then, you know, like all of these things that I'd have just so much issue with her taking a plate of mince pies to a village function. It would really piss me off. It would irk at me. You know, we'd be driving up to a village function. I'd just feel the presence of the mince pies sitting on a plate in the back seat, and I'd be just pissed off at them for being there. What a twat. On that note, I hope you enjoy Christmas tomorrow, folks. I'll be back after. Bye.